Oh, you can't grow grass. Oh, that's cute. Oh, how sweet. Hey guys, what's up? It's Heather with the Mosco. And I started this video yesterday and it didn't go to plan. So we're gonna finish it up today. So this video, we're gonna talk about the makeover that I'm doing on my front flower beds. And I'm starting to feel like these things have plagued me for like 3 years. What are you doing, Rue? What did you just eat? Rue, get away from those. So this channel all started when I've always loved to garden, and the house that I live in, the front flower gardens were I didn't like them. So I thought I'll just change these 2 beds. Like that's all I need to do, change these 2 beds. Maybe have like a couple vegetables. And friend, that has exploded into a problem. And the problem is, so I was making really good progress on like having my garden be the way that I like it. Also, are any of you being just absolutely attacked by cicadas? Shoot fire. So anyhow, I started this process and I redid that bed and I didn't like how I redid it. So I redid it again with my dream hydrangeas, and I was so happy. Like, you can go back to that video and be like, oh my gosh, I love it. I was like, it's just coming full circle. I'm finally gonna have, you know, the flower beds I want next to my house. And then I got 3 puppies, and then I didn't train them not to eat my plants. And they ate everything I have. Everything. Everything. So then I was like, well, this summer I'll just focus on my vegetable garden that I fenced in while they grow out of that phase. I can't look at my yard and it be a complete and utter mess in mud, and I can't do it. So I decided that my front flower beds, I would put in annuals while I'm training them. Then I won't have spent as much money on plants, but I'm not looking at a wasteland as well. So I started that video, and I'm gonna try to insert some footage of me before here. This is the bed we're dealing with right here. This is the front of my house. I live in this nice modern log cabin. But as you see, there's a lot of dead space here. The unfortunate thing about the dogs is their favorite place to play and dig is underneath there. And they have dug out quite a bit. Again, there was plants here. They ate them. So we're gonna fill this with annuals this year. Mostly, well, not mostly, coleus and sweet potato vine. The reason being, A, they were cheap. I could get them in large quantities. And B, they will cover this whole area. C, they will take the sun to shade area that this is. So we've already got drip in here. We do need to come in here and kill these weeds. And we've got these 2 containers that I put here. I'm very excited to plant these up because I have really fun plants for them. And because those plants are suffering right now and I need to do something about it. Hoping I have enough potting soil to do it. Now, they've been digging up my drip tube. Have they been digging up my drip tube? Oh my gosh, these dogs. So when this started, if you're looking at my house, there was a flower bed on the right, but there was no flower bed on the left. And I didn't like how unbalanced that was. And I felt like it was kind of weird. Also, it's very, very shady up here. And so nothing was growing, like even grass wasn't growing under there. That close to the house, it was kind of like a wasteland of dirt and weeds, which, I mean, grass is very subjective around here. So then there's that. Also, let's start this with, I live in East Tennessee. I garden in a zone 7B. The vast majority of the property around our house, we live in this like modern log cabin. The vast majority of the property around here is shaded. And we've cleared out some trees that were either dead or too close to the house and dying. So I've got some sun in the back to grow my vegetable garden, but admittedly that's not as full sun as probably ideally a vegetable garden would like. But up here on the one side, it goes full sun to part sun to basically shade, like part shade. So you need plants that can handle kind of a mixture of those conditions. So I came out here yesterday. I burned all the weeds with my blowtorch. I do have drip in this bed that I've had. This is where my very first like drip irrigation video was this bed. And so if you want to see that, that's where you look. And then there is this little side bed over here that's looking cute as well. So we set out to redo this bed. So I'm gonna flip you around and take you of kind of the after, because it's not done. I worked so hard yesterday to get all the mulch up here, but I just couldn't finish it. So let's go ahead and flip you around to the part that is done. It's not flipping. All right, there we go. So this is the after. Now, again, these plants are very small, but it definitely looks a lot more tidy than it did for sure. And my drip is working, so that makes me very happy. The dogs love to dig underneath this porch, and that's a problem. So that's why I'm having to like watch them and make sure that they don't come out here and dig it out. So I got the mulch all the way up to here, and I'm just very thrilled with how much tidier it is. It makes me feel like I'm not living in a complete and utter wasteland. I do need to clean the porch. I think that's gonna be the kids' like project for today while I'm out working in the yard. And they've clearly eaten something. And I think it's that one. But again, I'm trying to not let them be out here without me. But I still need to mulch over here. But you can see we went with 2 plants that can do both sun and shade. And then we have these beautiful containers, which I was so excited to plant up. I felt like we needed something kind of taller. I wanted either some kind of statement Japanese maple or some kind of statement evergreen. And we've got them here, and we've also got one down there to mirror it. But if you're looking, like if you're in the grass looking at them, see, I need to do something about this. I think I may do that sometime this weekend. Just like reseed some grass where the dogs have just completely annihilated it. But when you're looking here, it looks a lot more complete for the bed to be going across. Now we want these plants to grow up high enough to cover that kind of area there where it's dark. But let's go over here and look at these plants in a little more detail and talk about why I chose what I chose. So the first concern is I need things that will do sun and shade and kind of things in between. And so when we're talking about color schemes as well, ideally we would have had a blue evergreen because the house is like a reddish orange color and it's dark, to contrast that. However, this is what I could get my hands on, and I love these, and I have places in my gardens I could put these, and I feel like that one's not straight, but whatever. But I love these. These are really pretty Japanese maples. Ideally, I would have had lime thyme coleus, and then in front of that, the black sweet potato vine for the contrast and for the fact that the lime thyme coleus would contrast the house so well. But this is what I could get my hands on in mass, and sometimes that's what you got to go with. So let's go over the plants that are actually in here. So in the back, we've got coleus. So this is from the Color Blaze series. I did save the tags. It's the El Brido. Now I have had them for several weeks and I've been keeping them in shade, and that's why they're not nearly as bright as they usually would be. And obviously there's going to be some color variation, but they say that they get full kiss 24 to 40 inches tall. And to get them to bush out, I'm going to be pinching out the centers on a regular basis. So like once a week when I'm up here doing maintenance, I'll come in here and pinch out the centers of these plants in order to get them to bush out for me. And they will get tall enough to cover the majority of this open space here. I would have liked to had enough to do like a staggered situation, but again, this is just to have something here. It doesn't have to be perfect. I didn't measure these out, I just kind of laid them out. I didn't have enough of just the El Brido, so I had to bridge the gap with these, which is the Color Blaze Wicked Witch. Again, 24 to 40 inches, sun to shade. So these plants can do sun or shade. They'll get nice and bushy. I don't have to worry about fertilizing them. And I did, when I planted everything, put biotone in the holes and some compost, some land and sea compost from Espoma. but I don't have to worry about coming up here with continuous release or water-soluble fertilizer. Just got to get the centers pinched out of them and keep the dogs out of them. Jabbies. I know. Don't be in my flower bed now. You've been told about this. So in front of that though, we did do a sweet potato vine because I wanted to just cover and carpet the area. I have had sweet potato, Rue. I have had sweet potato vine up here over there before, and I loved it. Now, ideally, again, we would have something bright green, but this is what I could get my hands on, and I do love the sweet potato vine. So this is the Proven Winners, Proven Accents. Clear that off so you can see it. It says full to part sun. It will be fine up here. I've grown this in somewhat shady situations before and not had a problem. And they are 6 to 16 inches tall. They get very wide. Like they will have no problem blanketing this area and covering it in lush vegetation, which I'm very excited to see up here. I just want something large and beautiful growing here. Because again, it has been a muddy wasteland for so freaking long and I can't take it. I also did take the time this year. I cut my edge last year, but I definitely trenched it a lot more so that you can see there's quite an elevation difference between here and where the mulch is, and then we can go back in with a weed eater and just keep this edge cleaned off. And again, there is drip irrigation in here. It will run every day throughout the summer, probably for 20, 30 minutes, something like that, to keep these plants happy and with water. Now let's talk about what kind of plants we put in the pots here. So we did the beautiful Japanese maple, and then underneath that we planted some sun patience. The reason we went with sun patience because they can do sun or shade, and the creeping Jenny. And that creeping Jenny is going to be that bright chartreusey trailer for us, whereas this is going to be kind of our filler, and obviously the Japanese maple is our thriller. I did put compost in these pots as well, and some Proven Winners continuous release, and I will hit them with the water soluble. So that's what this flower bed looks like now. I will go through and mulch this other one today. It is doing my heart such good to see like a cohesive, finished, cleaned up space. Again, hopefully either this fall or this following spring, we will replace all of this with beautiful hydrangeas. I would like something that's either, I can't decide, and y'all comment below, based upon how much sun it gets down there versus how little gets down here, if we should do oak leaves, which I think would be gorgeous up here, and the fall color would be gorgeous, and the bright white panicles would be gorgeous. Is it gonna have enough sun for them? And are they gonna be too large for the area? Because I don't like anything touching the house. Now I could just like go off and shear the back of them. But I'm thinking either doing limettas again to have that bright chartreuse contrast to the dark house, but maybe oak leaves. Maybe they need a little bit more shade than that area gets down there though, because look how full sun that is. So I'm not sure which I want to do. I could possibly do the endless summer hydrangeas because the orange contrasted with the blue might be super pretty. But again, I'm just not sure what I want to do. And again, I'll underplant those pots every season with something beautiful. I think that's an exciting opportunity to have some annuals. But I think if I do hydrangeas here and then I leave a space for me to do some annuals in front of that, maybe some begonias would be great because again, begonias can do sun or shade. And I would love to be able to take down this structure and not have my dogs literally chew on my house and have some pots up there and be able to sit on my front porch again. But we're getting there. Aren't we, Rue Bear? Are you a good girl? Are you a good girl? Yes, you're a good girl. So speaking of the dogs, how am I keeping them out of here? Well, I'm trying to come out here and just holler at them when they're here. But also I have bought this stuff from Bonide, and it's like a cat dog repellent, and it's basically active ingredient like concentrated cinnamon. And I either will hold my breath if it's going to be a quick application, or if I'm having to do a lot, I'll go get a mask. Because even when I breathe it, it's uncomfortable. But it doesn't keep them out of the bed, I find, but it does keep them from digging and chewing on stuff. So like I've been putting it in the bed that has the roses and the lamb's ear, and my lamb's ear is still getting trampled, like they're walking in there, but they're not chewing out the drip tube or chewing up the plants and digging them up. And I've been putting those containers next to my garage. I've been sprinkling them kind of religiously, like if it rains or if I water it, I sprinkle a little bit more over it. And a little seems to go a long way with it. But that is keeping them from eating the stuff in it. Like I say, it won't keep them from walking in there. So like one of these plants, they have already like walked over and snapped it, but it will keep them from chewing it up, digging it up. Same thing with the drip. So I put some underneath the mulch, and I'm gonna put some over the mulch as well. And I've been buying it on Amazon. It's like 23 bucks. I will link it down below, but it seems to be kind of working. And again, I don't want to use something super harsh on my babies because they are my babies and I love them. But it does seem to be getting the job done. So in any case, I wanted to just come in, talk about these plants, show you what I'm doing up here. It's beautiful out here right now. It is. Why is my watch acting a fool? I think I might have to buy a new watch. I mean, this one is 6 years old. Like, it literally won't do anything. No, Siri, I don't need help. I just need to know what the dang weather is. I don't want to use Apple Pay, whatever. It's like 60-something degrees, maybe 70 out here right now. Won't go to home screen, just won't go. In any case, just wanted to show you what we got going on up here and that it doesn't look like I'm living in a mud pile right here anyhow. Like right here, it's like, oh, look, it's nice and tidy. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you in the next one. Bye.